Welcome to the webinar Launching a Club is Not a Rocket Science. Join the District 108, District 110 webinar, and where me, Lucas Liebig, the Program Quality Director of District 110, I'll be asking a couple of questions, and I'll be listening to the presentation of the Club Growth Director of District 108, Elena Paweta. The reason why this webinar is happening is, first of all, because Elena is a fun person to talk to. And beside that fact, she was extremely successful with her combining knowledge and adding her own approach, just launching a club when she was area director 2 years ago. Since then, she gained a lot more experience because since then she had the role of division director, and now she's in the role of club growth director, which means she's got a lot to share. And well, of course, I was curious about what's new with her. I could have chatted with her in private, but then as we spoke, we thought it might be even more useful to have this chat in public. So this is what we are going to do. This webinar is going to be divided in two parts. In the first part, Elena will have a brief presentation when she'll summarize all her knowledge and wisdom about life, in particular about launching new clubs. And then in the second part, I will ask a couple of questions. And of course, each and every one of you will have an opportunity to ask questions. What I suggest during the webinar, I'll stay muted during Elena's presentation, but you can type out your questions in the chat box. And as Elena will be presenting, I'll be watching the chat box, looking for the questions, and at the right moments, I will ask them for you. Later on, we can open it for an open discussion. Well, I think now is the right time to hand the word over to our club launching expert. Elena, the floor is yours.
Hello, everyone. Thank you very much, Lucas, for the introduction. So, the name of the webinar is Launching a Club is Not a Rocket Science. Some people say that it is hard to launch a club, and people actually have some problems with this. From what I hear, documentation can be overwhelming, and new clubs can't get the right numbers, and they're struggling organizing the meetings, and eventually they lose motivation because the numbers are low. And there is also this issue with demo meetings, which clubs organize, because demo meetings are organized perfectly, speakers are very good, we're showing the best we can. But after such meetings, not often guests stay and join the club. So the method I'm sharing, and I made a webinar about it some time ago, and now I will make a short recap of this, is a method how to launch the club, how to start the club faster and easier without this long process of getting new members one by one. So there are basically 4 main elements I will repeat and I will talk about, not in very much detail, because there is a webinar on this with all the details, but shortly I will share those 4 elements. So to launch the club, we need first preparation, and this is the longest part of launching the club. Actually, before first meeting, the club launch meeting, I think that a minimum month to 2 months time should be spent on promotion, on getting the team together, and preparation. The second very important part is documents, collecting all the documents and getting all of them. I will explain in details in a second. Then running the club launch meeting, not the demo meeting, not the the first meeting of people who want to join, but gathering many people together in one room and launching the club. I will also share how we can do this in one meeting. And finally, doing the follow-up, which is very important. Closing the sale already during the meeting, in the launch meeting, and after that, following up with all the guests. So, starting with preparation. First of all, this is the most important part. We need to spend really lots of time on this. We cannot plan demo meeting for the next week or in 2 weeks, as very often it happens. So let's do something and let's do it in 2 weeks. And then we do not have much time for proper PR, and PR is essential here. So first we need to find the team with whom we want to start the club. Who wants to be in the officers team, who wants to help with launching the club. If this is a corporation, then we need to find few people in the company who are interested in starting this club. Then it is very important to read the manual to know how to build Toastmasters Club. There is a manual where everything is described in details, not to have any additional questions after that. It is very useful to get a charter kit before the first launch meeting. It means registering prospective club. If we already know that we want to open a club, we need to fill in forms number 1 and number 5 and send them to TMI and pay $125. And then our club is officially registered as prospective club. The benefits are that we can use Toastmasters materials, we can use Toastmasters logo, we can name ourselves as Toastmasters Club already. So we can start our Facebook page, we can start our web page, our meetup page, and start promoting ourselves. And the next very important thing is that in the charter kit, we get some promotional materials already for our first meetings and some materials for new members as well. And very important thing is focus on the promotion. So all social media and web page should be already in place. The meeting, Facebook meeting, or if we're using Eventbrite or some other event planning platforms, it should all already be active month before the event, the club launch meeting. We recently had a webinar with one of our area directors who described how he started the club in one meeting in a very small town in Poland, in Piła. They made promotion for a month. They had marketing plan for a month. So they radio, TV, Facebook, web pages. So they used everything, all methods possible. And they got 300 people in the room. So
wow.
This was they started the club after this, and they did not use the selling. They did not use the special club launch method. They just got a lot of people in the room, and there was no Toastmasters Club there. So the main thing is to focus on promotion to get as many people as possible. At least you need to have those 20 guests. This is the minimum you need to have in the room, but the more the better. If you will have 30, 40, 50 people, the more the better. Then we need to brief the team. This is very important. The team, Toastmasters, experienced Toastmasters who will be part of this, they need to know about all the process, how it will go, and that this that we want to start a club with only one meeting, and how we will do it, how we will achieve it. So we need to work on our marketing plan together, we need to work to plan our launch meeting together, and everyone should be on the same page. Then we need to prepare our documents. So what documents do we need? Documents and materials we will use during the meeting. Well, first of all,
can I ask a quick question to the previous
yeah, sure.
slide? One thing that comes to my mind is, well, this whole the preparation and the club launch method. It feels quite novel to me. And it might be like the people on this webinar who are attending or watching it, they might come with enthusiastic about this approach, but then they meet some other maybe more experienced Toastmaster who say, oh no, let's do it the way we always done it. Would you have a piece of advice for them, like how to convince the people they're going to work with to use really this method?
This is a typical situation, actually, and I faced it several times. So people want to do it their own way, how they plan it. For example, they want to make some special events with 10 speakers, or just showing the best we can show, and taking all our best speakers to the demo meeting. But I think that how we can convince people to use this method is to show them success stories, to show them examples that, look, in our district we have already now 8 clubs chartered from the beginning of the year, and majority of them were started in just one day after one meeting. So, and just describe step by step which clubs did what, and also maybe show some examples of clubs which wanted to do something different, and they are still struggling.
Super, thank you.
Yeah, I think that success stories, they speak the best. So as to the documents, first, charter documents. As I said, we need to read the manual to know what documents we should fill in, and this is not a rocket science. This is just 6 documents to fill in. Everything is simple and easy, and always your club growth director can help in filling in all the documents. And if we want to start prospective club before the launch meeting, then we need to fill in forms 1 and 5 already before, but we can also prepare other forms to be ready just to send them right away when we have 20 applications. Because to charter the club, we need just 20 membership applications, and then we can send the documents. What else should we prepare? We should prepare guest packages for the meeting. Guest packages can include many different documents. I described them in detail in the previous webinar about how I launched the club in 2 weeks. And it can include agenda, information about the club, club joining prices, as it is very important to stress from the beginning that we are opening a new club, and how much does it cost. It should not come as a surprise afterwards. People should know about this, and we can even announce it in Facebook event, and we should give the materials to people at the meeting. Promotional materials like leaflets, Toastmaster magazines. Now, I think that new people who join new Toastmasters, they do not get Toastmaster magazines. They need to mark it somewhere on the web page that they want to get. But old members, I think that they still get the magazine into their mailbox, and it is a great promotional tool. Then we can also share documents like leadership opportunities, what is going on in the club. However, I suggest not to overwhelm people with information at the first meeting. So just the most important information. For example, we don't have to go into pathways. in the first meeting, don't describing all the paths and all the possibilities. It will be too complicated in the beginning. Just the basic info.
Can I have a quick question to that?
Yeah.
Because I also have a similar experience when, well, different people with, let's say, who have some experience with Toastmasters, but not that much with launching clubs. Sometimes they overwhelm people with information. So when you have a team that's launching a club, do you do some briefing for them? Do you like tell them which information to share, which not to share? Do you organize it in some way?
Yes, it is discussed individually with every club, because some, especially corporations, they have certain requirements. Yes, so they want this meeting to be like this and that. They want this information, and then we need to adapt. However, it is better to give, not to give too much information. So to share all the information needed with decision makers, but at the first meeting, not to overwhelm with everything we know, because we know a lot. If someone is at the stage that they start a new Toastmasters club, it means that they know a lot about the organization. But new members, they do not need to know this. They just need to know that this is a great place where they can develop their leadership skills and how they can do it, and it is just a nice place to be in. I think this is the main goal of the first meeting. Yeah.
Great, thank you.
So registration documents. If we plan to make a bigger meeting, and it is better to make this launch meeting as big as possible, if we really make this huge PR campaign, then it is good to make a registration special place where people, where guests can sign up, where people will get some materials, and they will just be welcomed, or they can have a name tag, just someone to welcome at the entrance officially. And of course, leaflets and posters, all the materials are available at Toastmasters.org webpage, but also some materials are available in the charter kit as well. So if you make prospective club, then you will get all those materials in the box, and you can distribute them. And it is good to, if you have ribbons, you can borrow from some other club. It is also great to give someone first-timer ribbons. It is a great present for someone who is a guest. So before moving to the next point, I would like to share one concept, because the next point I wanted to discuss how the launch meeting looks like. And let's have a look at this marketing concept. This is brand awareness pyramid, and it is very simple. Maybe some of us already know and seen it somewhere. So how we create brand awareness, and where do we go? So first we need to create brand awareness, then we have interest. And actually this PR campaign we are talking about is just those two first points. So we need to create awareness, and this is the most important, the biggest part of our job. Yeah, we need to do it for a long time on a big scale, and we need to get as many people as possible. We need to make this PR campaign in such a way to create an interest, so that people are interested and they say, aha, this is an interesting place, maybe I would like to attend. So do not use our wordings, DTM, CC, where people, if they read it in newspaper article, they will not understand. So we need to speak their language, and depending on where we are promoting the meeting and the new club, and we need to get their interest. But the credibility and desire to get the product, meaning to join the club and making an action, is the matter of the meeting itself. This is what happens at the meeting. And very often when we have usual demo meeting, when we just show what we do at every week, we finish at this interest, maybe at credibility. So we show that we are great, that we are a great place, but we do not sell the idea, and we do not create the desire to join. And that's why after normal demo meetings, very often people do not have this desire, and they say, okay, so maybe I will join you next week, or maybe not. Yes, and we don't see them anymore. So how to create this desire and to get them to action, to get them to sign the papers and to join the club. So how to run the club launch meeting? First of all, let's not call it a demo meeting, because this is something different. We can call it kickoff meeting or launch meeting, but this should be the first meeting of the club. And it should be advertised like this. When we're making our PR campaign, we should announce everywhere that we are launching the club, and you are welcome to join the first meeting of our club, during which you can sign up and become a member. And this is how we should promote it. And during the meeting, first of all, we welcome guests. We have this registration place. Then we collect table topic cards. This table topic cards is a concept which I described also in details in the previous webinar. This is an interesting concept introduced by Rick Furbush, where at the beginning guests fill in a small card and they write something interesting about themselves. And during table topic master asks them about those things, so they feel comfortable about speaking what they already know. Then,
Elena, if I can quickly comment on that one, I think I honestly love that concept, because in MSD Prague we have a Toastmasters club, and we are running a little demo meeting for every month for every group of people we are onboarding. And it works like a charm, where everybody of these 30 or 40 people writes on a piece of paper something interesting about themselves. And then we collect these pieces of paper and we say, okay, somebody wrote that, okay, I was traveling for 3 months in Southeast Asia. And you say, okay, who was traveling for 3 months in Southeast Asia? They would like to stand up. And most often people write something they're really proud of. Very often people, even if they don't like speaking in general, they kind of like speaking about what they're really proud of. So like, I love this concept.
yeah, this is really great, because people get to speak about themselves. Usually if guests come to average normal Toastmasters meeting, they just see what's going on and they are passive listeners. But here we want to organize this meeting in such a way to get guests speaking as much as possible. And especially if they get to share some of their experiences, and they will get appreciated for that. They will get applause, and they will really feel good about it. And what we want to make is to make people feel good about this place.
Yeah, like as you just said that, I think I have that from Olivia Schofield, a famous trainer among European Toastmasters. So she said in her trainings, like, before she was focused on delivering content, giving people all the information, but then she realized what's way more important is the feeling or the emotional takeaway that you have from the training. But I think this translates also to any kind of Toastmaster meeting, and even more to a launch meeting, because that's where you need to create the desire and move people to action.
Yeah, exactly. So to create this, we want to create this emotional state, this fun, dynamic place where they can share what they want, and they can this is a safe place, yes, where everyone is nice to them. They will not get criticized. And so, yeah, we collect those cards in the beginning. Then we start the meeting by explaining the value of Toastmasters, but very briefly. We do not go into details. We can then they can sell the idea to themselves. For example, we can ask question of the day in the beginning. Why do you think public speaking is important for you? Or what value will it give if you would have more self-confidence in your workplace? And they kind of start selling the concept to themselves. So we don't need to oversell Toastmasters to tell how great place it is. Just let them see how great this is a great place. So the main concept, the main idea of this meeting is to let guests speak as much as possible. And basically, all guests should speak all the time. First time guests get to speak is in the beginning, where we ask question of the day. And here, briefing of the team, organizing team, is very important. Everyone should know that this is a meeting for guests. And we, as the Toastmasters, we have certain roles, but we do not speak at the meeting, because Toastmasters like to speak. They feel confident in public, and they will start answering all the questions, and they will dominate. And this is not the effect we want to get. We want to get only guests to speak. And Toastmasters who take part in organizing this meeting, they should really know that they are here just as members of the organizing team, but only guests speak. So guests answer question of the day in the beginning, just short, up to 1 minute answers, why public speaking is important for them, for example, depending also on the place. If this is a corporate club, then we might ask how leadership skills will help you in your workplace, for example, in your function. Then we can get some interesting answers here already, and we can also feel what is going on in the company from the beginning of the meeting, and then we can address their challenges and needs during the meeting. Then the second part, where guests get to speak, is group evaluation. And one speaker can have evaluator, so that guests see how do we do it, and the second speaker can be evaluated by guests. So Toastmaster can moderate group evaluation. What did you like about the speech? What could be improved? So also everyone can feel this power that, yes, I can suggest something to this experienced speaker and he will listen to me. And this is also the very good part to give them the power, to give them to speak. And the third is table topics. As Lucas mentioned, this is a great opportunity to get people to speak, because they're speaking about their own experiences, what they wrote on the card about their successes, what they're proud of. So this is usually a very fun part. As to speakers, it is good to have two different speakers, one beginner and one advanced. First, for people to see the difference, that people can advance on their way, on their educational path in Toastmasters. And the second thing is that they will see that evaluations in Toastmasters are not that bad, that they are actually constructive and positive, as the first beginner speaker will get probably such evaluation. And the second speaker, advanced speaker, will be evaluated by people, and they will feel this power that, yes, that even the good speaker has something to improve, and I can suggest him something. So this is also a good thing. Table topics, it is good to make it fun. So when we conduct table topics, it is good to have someone who is very dynamic and a fast, fun person who can do this in a very fast way and dynamic way. However, we cannot also tell people to go out. I mean, we can, depending on the place where we are and the level of the people who of guests, there are two ways. First, we can do normal table topics as we do. So we invite a person to the stage, and then the person has 1 to 2 minutes. And then we can have this more dynamic table topics when we have more guests and we want everyone to share, and everyone has 30 to 60 seconds to very fast from their place where they're sitting to share some details about what they wrote on the card. Then they feel more safe, they are not so stressed, but they also feel proud that they shared this thing which is important to them. So we also should be flexible to the corporation we're in or to the environment we're in. And in the end, we can also explain leadership opportunities, what additional opportunities they will have when they join the club. And finally, the most important thing is closing the deal and making the sale. So this is basically the thinking of this pyramid we saw before. This is this action. So by all this meeting, by creating this fun atmosphere, by letting them speak, by getting them to share what they are proud of, by giving them to evaluate someone, we create this desire. They think that, wow, this is a great place where I want to be. But then we need to get them to action. And it is good to reserve at least half an hour for this part. Also depending on the place we're in. If this is a corporate club, then we have less time, because usually those meetings are only 1 hour long. We would have about 15 minutes. If this is a community club, then we can have 30 minutes for this part. So in the end, we we tell them, so that now, as you saw what we are doing here in Toastmasters, now this is your turn. So you have the membership applications, and now you can fill in those membership applications. This is the moment where we sign up. And we also say about the prices, about the time, when do they have to pay, how much do they have to pay, what they will get out of it, and give them time to start filling in the applications, and then divide people into groups. And during this, every group has a moderator, experienced Toastmaster, who can answer all the questions and moderate the discussion. And during these discussions, what we want to get people to sign up for roles for the next meetings. And this is the most important part of the whole process, because this is actually how you start a club in 1 hour. Yeah, because how can you start a Toastmasters club? You can just get agenda for the next several weeks. And if you get a functioning club with Toastmaster, with 3 speakers, with evaluators, with all functionaries for the next 4 weeks, then you already have a club. So
wow, so you create that. Oh wow, this is the best. So you bring, basically you're filling 4 Toastmaster meetings, the next 4 Toastmaster meetings, and
yeah.
by that you just, okay, you can, well, so you've signed up for the evaluation, but you need to become a member, right? Did you know that? Well, okay, you didn't know. Okay, it's okay, we can fix it. We have a membership application form.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, exactly. This is how it works. Usually when a person says that, yes, I want to join, there are people like this who say immediately that, yes, I'm joining, especially in corporate clubs. When a company pays the dues, then people are more eager to join. Then they just sign up for the roles. But people who are hesitating, then exactly this works like this. Then, okay, so maybe you can come to 1 more meeting and to have a role and try yourself, or make an icebreaker or something. So basically what we do is we fill in, we make everyone to commit to something,
I see.
whether it is to pay already because they submit membership application at the spot, or they commit to speak in 3 weeks, for example, and in 2 weeks to being an accounter. And after that, during follow-up, we will discuss with them all the details and get this applications later on. So yeah, this is very important part, closing the deal and getting all the applications and getting people to sign up to plan for the future. But also extremely important part is follow-up, because we cannot just focus on people who signed up for meetings and just start with the club. We need to contact with all those guests who attended the meeting and send them thank you emails, call them, ask them, how did you like the meeting? Would you like to attend the next one? Would you like to have a role? So a more personal approach to people. Then people who already decided, we need to collect applications and payments. And
can I have a quick question for this? Yeah. Sorry, for the like very personal approach. Can you be a little bit more specific? You know, an example of very personal approach. What is that in your?
So basically, we can do a standard follow-up email. Dear Lucas, thank you very much for attending. It was a pleasure having you. See you in 1 week.
Yeah, not very personal.
Yeah, so this is what we can do. This is what very often is done. So send 20 emails and okay, and then no one comes. Yeah, but being more personal, addressing the needs, because those Toastmasters who are moderating the conversations in groups, they should also make notes. Yes, okay, so this person has problems at work. He's the team leader, for example, but he's, I don't know, lacking confidence or something. And so to make notes, yes, about everyone, and then just to address their needs, because one person needs to become better leader at work, and another person needs to make a presentation at the university as a student presentation, and those are completely different needs, and we cannot send a standard email for that. Yeah.
So I can imagine you doing that easily because you are a mega people person. How do you brief the others? How do you brief every moderator of the small group so that they know what they should do in the group, such as collecting this information about people?
So this is exactly what we're discussing now. We should discuss before the meeting. Everyone should know what we're doing. And just to tell them to, especially during those group conversations, to note as much as possible and to ask questions, not to talk, because as again, Toastmasters like to talk. And when very often it happens that a guest asks, so can you tell me what is this counter function? And we start giving 5-minute speech about what is counter function. Yeah. So this is not how it works. We need to answer very briefly and then ask questions. So what is your reason? Why do you want to join? What function do you think would be the best for you? And get them talking, not only try selling and speaking about Toastmasters.
Got it. We have a couple of questions from Justina because they're relevant to what you're talking about. I will ask them now. And one is, I found like particularly on the spot, Justina is asking, is there a specific person dedicated to closing the deal? Thanks for the question, Justina. Is there a specific person dedicated to closing the deal?
Yes, this is usually Toastmaster of the host of the meeting, and this is the person who is telling and briefly introducing what we're doing now, that now we are actually signing up to becoming members of the club. And in the beginning of the meeting, it should be announced as well. Everyone in the Facebook meeting, it should be announced as well. So people who come to this meeting, they should already know that this is the meeting where they can become one of the charter members, 20 charter members of the club. And yeah, if we have more than 20 people, then it creates the atmosphere of rivalization. And for example, this is what happened in Nokia Toastmasters Club. We opened recently in Wrocław. They made they paid only for 30 members. They said that they will cover only 30 membership payments, but much more people wanted to sign up only because they have this scarcity of resources. This is what happens when we have lack of something, we want more of it. And so yeah, Toastmasters tells about it, but also every moderator of a group conversation, they should also know how to lead these discussions, because every discussion is very much personal, and we have these discussions in small groups. It is good to have about 4 to 5 guests in one group and one Toastmaster. It's better not to have more Toastmasters in one group, then they start dominating and leading the conversation and explaining things, and this is not what we want to do.
Right. Well, so the way you say it, it feels to me, because like many demo meetings I so organized, or I was even a part of the group, was, okay, let's prepare how do we do the demo, or how do we do the launch meeting, like who takes which roles. But what I see it now is that the large part of the briefing should be about how are we going to close the deal.
Yeah,
and I think
exactly.
that's very important.
This is what briefing should be all about.
Yes.
How to close the deal, how to lead those conversations to make the sale. So, but the majority of sale, let's say, does the Toastmaster. When I was conducting such meeting, and people actually took out the applications and they started to fill it in. And it was the first step, and then the conversation in groups was just an addition to what I said.
Right. One more quick question, and then I will let you go on. Jenny asked, should the email, the follow-up email, be sent by one person, like the PR officer, or each person sends few personal emails to the people they spoke to in the meeting?
Okay, this is a good question. Actually, usually one person is sending those emails, but this is a good idea to make those dedicated people to groups to send emails, because then they get better contact with those people, and they know them better. Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah. Well, thanks for asking, Jenny.
So about follow-up, the next step is collecting applications and payments from people who are already decided to join. Then we send invitations to the next meeting. It is better to send invitations few times. People do not have EasySpeak yet, do not have any platform to register. They don't have access to Toastmasters.org. So it is good to add them to Facebook page, to keep them posted, and to also post regularly on Facebook fan page. In the event, immediately create the next event and next meetup or Facebook event, which platform you're using, and also the web page. And what those people need to get is assistance with first projects. It is very important to help them in the beginning, so that everyone gets a mentor who will lead them. If this is a role of accountant or timer, then everyone should know what to do. Yeah, and when we get 20 applications, we send charter documents after this immediately. So this is how it works. Basically, the majority of time we spend on preparation, and then we want to get as many people as possible to the meeting and to get them interested and to get them to join. So to share a few success stories from our district, we recently chartered, we already chartered 8 clubs in District 108. And this is example of Nokia Toastmasters Club in Wrocław, where we organized a demo meeting, launch meeting for 50 people. And after this launch meeting, organized exactly according to this scheme, we had 30 membership applications after just one meeting. And after this meeting, when they already sent charter documents, I got the information that they have already 8 people waiting in the line, because they pay only for 30 members, and the rest is waiting. So if those members are not committed and they are not active, then the next ones will get their place. So this is a great
Wow,
success story.
that's some pressure. So you give your icebreaker in the next 4 weeks, or are we going to kick you out?
Yes, yes, exactly. So this is, and they are actually, there are a few corporate clubs in our district which do this. They see how active members are, and they are connecting it also with their company goals and perks they get in the organizations. And we also had the meeting in Philips in Łódź, and after one meeting, the club was chartered. Those 2 examples, of course, are a bit different from community club, let's say, because this is where corporation pays, and in community club it might be a bit harder to get people to sign up immediately. We might not get 30 applications at the first meeting. This is very very ambitious. But it is doable. It is doable. I opened community club as well. It required lots of follow-up after that, lots of mailings and phone calls, but it is possible to get the interest. So to sum up, 4 main steps. Prepare and yourself and brief your team. Find the team, first of all, experienced team who will help with starting the club. Prepare all the documents needed. I described all the documents in details in the previous webinar I conducted. And run the club launch meeting according to this plan, this agenda. Make it as dynamic, as lively, as fun as possible, and then follow up with all the members and keep conversation with them going until you get them to join the club or not. So yeah, that's I think this is all from me.
Wow, perfect.
Any questions?
Well, first of all, thanks for sharing this approach. This is great. I particularly like the part about closing the deal, because I think this is something that by nature we tend to share the information we have. But I think most people in Toastmasters are not natural sales people yet. And I think this is also a good way how to practice sales, actually running a launch meeting.
Exactly. Yeah, I'm not a salesperson as well. Yeah, so I never learned how to sell. I think that the most important thing about sales, which I learned as club growth director, because club growth director is a bit about selling Toastmasters to people and corporations. And what I learned is to feel that what you're selling is actually good and is giving value to people. Then you don't feel like, selling vacuum cleaners or knives or something which people do not need, but you actually
You don't need vacuum cleaner, Elena.
Yeah, but you actually selling people something to which will change their lives. Yes, and if you feel this, then the sales will go really easily.
I know what you mean. All right, we got a couple more questions from the audience. One of them, Justina asked already somewhere in the middle of the webinar about transferable skills, whether you try to highlight when you're doing corporate clubs, whether you try to highlight skills people can transfer from Toastmaster to their daily job.
Yes, it is very important to speak about transferable skills, especially in corporate clubs. And this should be in corporate clubs. We cannot speak about club where we are having fun and having great friends, because corporations, they have something completely different. They have their own goals, and it is also good to know company's goals, company strategy, to know why they are starting this Toastmasters Club, to speak to decision makers before, and then to connect this Toastmasters program to the needs of the company. So if they need more leaders in the company, here is the product for you. You can do the leadership path and pathways and become better leaders.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. Robin asked that he would like to know also more, even when the club is launched, how to get more people to the meeting. And what I'm thinking of, how to link it to launching the meeting, what can work well together. Speaking of corporate clubs, how do you convince the management to give support to, to people organizing the club? And also if you have any strategy, how to have the managers in the company support it, so they let their people join the meeting, or they even suggest their people to join Toastmasters.
Mm-hmm. It is very good to have a decision maker actually at the meeting, to have a general manager attending, or at least opening the meeting. At least they're usually very busy, but they can come at least for 5 minutes and open the meeting, say that this is very important, because when people see that the management supports this initiative, then they join more eagerly. Mm-hmm. We have in our district clubs, 2 clubs, corporate clubs, where actually general manager of the hub of the whole company is a member, and this is a great success when your general manager comes and shares his personal stories and you get to evaluate him. This is great value. How to convince? Well, there are presentations for management prepared by Toastmasters International, and where they show these transferable skills. I have such presentation which I adapt to different needs, and basically we need to show them other corporations which already have Toastmasters clubs. We need to address the needs of their company. First of all, ask about needs of their company. This is also very important, not just start talking about our organization, how great it is, but first ask, so why do you need this? What are the main challenges in your organization? How do you think you can overcome them?
This is interesting, because I think we haven't spoken about this yet, because we're assuming it, but the way I listen to you, it makes me feel like there should be a meeting with the management of the company before the launch meeting, right? Could you briefly describe what that looks like?
Well, usually there is one driver, person who wants to open a club. If this is general manager, as in few cases it was, then the success is guaranteed. But if this is HR manager, for example, then they need to get approvals. And to get approvals, we need to have several meetings. It can be a meeting with club growth director, or with division director, or with the experienced Toastmaster who will describe how it works and what do we do. And then they need to get internal approvals. Sometimes it lasts for a while. We need to wait. And then when everything is approved within the company, then they set the date of the launch meeting, and then we can start the promotion.
Super. Thank you. Elena, we got about 3 minutes to go, and I think we answered all or at least most of the questions from the audience. So what I suggest, if you have something, some closing remarks, I'll let you do these, and then we can maybe open the discussion for the next 10 minutes or so, and then we close. So over to you if you have any closing remarks.
So to sum up, the most important thing in launching the club is, first of all, planning and promoting, because we need to get the awareness out as much as possible. We need to get people to our launch meeting. And the second thing is we need to focus on this closing the deal at the meeting, on this sales part of the meeting, where people sign up for next weeks for different roles. And then success is, it is never guaranteed, but it is very probable that the club will get going and it will charter very fast.
Brilliant. Elena, thank you very much for taking the time for doing this webinar, for sharing your how do you say, it took a lot of work to earn all this knowledge. I'm missing my English vocabulary. For your earned knowledge of
Maybe
launching.
I will also add,
Yes,
Lucas,
please,
that
go.
If anyone wants to has any additional questions about the documents or some other details, then you can freely contact me via Facebook or LinkedIn, and I have all the materials and I share them eagerly with people.
Excellent. And for the participants of the webinar, we will be sharing this video on the district's YouTube channels, both 108 to 110. And I think what we can just add to this, to the description of the video, we can just add a link to a folder where maybe you might put all the documents that you find useful for starting, for launching a club.
Okay.
All right. Well, thanks a lot once again. And I think now is a good time for an open discussion, as long as, Elena, you can spare 10 more minutes.
Yes, sure.
All right, so anyone, if you'd like to ask a question, you can feel free to unmute yourself or ask, or if you are shy or you do not have a mic, you can still type out your question in a chat. Oh, Mark is asking, where exactly will the recording of the presentation be available? Mark, so we will upload the video to the YouTube channels, and then we will share one of these, I think it doesn't matter which one, it can be District 108, to the Facebook event. Yeah, so in the Facebook event later on, and I think, I'm not sure if today, but in a couple of days at latest, we will share the link to the YouTube video recording of the webinar. Any other questions from the audience? All right, 5, 4, 3, 2. Elena, Jenny asked, Elena, do you also have materials to launch a non-English club?
Depending which language.
That's a good question. I
know that some
Italian.
material.
Oh, Italian. Well, Elena, how is your Italian?
Italian, I'm not sure. I'm very basic in Italian. I'm not sure if someone used it, because I know that in Germany they used this method and they translated the documents. In Poland, but in Italian, I'm not sure. I think that this is a matter of
we can ask the Francesco or some people from the Italian for the South European district. Jenny, we will ask, okay? All right, Robin, did I miss your answer about how to get people to the club? You can't change the question. Oh yeah, that's all right. That's a good comment, Robin. I wanted to keep the focus on the launching the club, but since now there's an open discussion, we can ask that again. So yeah, Robin is asking, how do you, when the club is already launched, how to get 30 people to these meetings, or in general, how to do the PR so that more people come and visit?
Yes, yes. So the main PR campaign should be in the beginning for the launch meeting to actually start the club. But of course, we want to keep guests coming. So promotion should be running all the time. Facebook, leaflets, and depending on the place, on the club, whether it's corporate, whether it's community, where it is located. If this is a university venue, then can address students. And we actually made a webinar some time ago on PR tricks. I think, Lucas, you also conducted it by Justina. Maybe we can share this, the link to this webinar, because there were some useful tips and tricks how to make promotion going so that guests keep coming to our meetings.
Right, that's true. I remember a tip from another webinar done by Sebastiano Finocchiaro, who was, I think, Italian living in Denmark. And that trick that works very nicely, that speaking of Facebook, is that when you have meeting on Facebook, you put the agenda together 1 week in advance, and you tag the speakers in the agenda of the meeting so their friends get notification. Oh, wow, Justina Shuminska is speaking in the next week about her teenage experiences with vegetables, for example. And this is a very interesting topic for her friends, so they might be tempted to come to the meeting. In a corporate club, again, you might, instead of just putting a poster about Toastmaster meeting, you can put the pictures of the people speaking in the meeting, and their colleagues will see, wow, Lucas is going to speak about StarCraft 2 tomorrow. I'm gonna check it out. So that's one tip I remember.
Yeah, this is a great trick actually, to tag people, and also in pictures, make pictures at the meetings and tag people in lively, energetic pictures, and then guests keep coming because they also see their friends doing some interesting things and they're interested and they want to attend as well. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, thanks for asking, Robin. Any other questions? We have 5 more minutes. That means only only 2 more questions can be asked. I'm creating the scarcity effect, Elena. See how I'm learning?
Very good.
Well, it looks like we've satisfied, well, you've satisfied everyone with your knowledge. Yeah, so I think once again, thanks a lot for sharing. Thanks a lot for your time. Pleasure to work with you as always. And maybe we can do something again the next time.
Yes, yes. Thank you very much. It was a pleasure presenting my favorite topic once again.
Thank you. And thanks everyone for joining. I also know it's quite a time investment to, well, spend 1 hour of the evening watching a webinar. So good luck with launching your clubs. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to Elena or me or anyone in your district. We'll be happy to help you out. Have a nice evening.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.